This effort, this work, would have him primed, I think, third start off the layoff to make amends for what didn't happen last year.
Well, he hasn't been beaten since. He's had 3 starts since then, won all 3. And what I like about this work is it doesn't look like he's doing anything. The rider's very quiet on him. It looks like a fast gallop, Simon, but California Flag is getting over the ground very, very well here, and I like this work quite a bit.
I think I do too. I mean, he's, I like, you know, we talked about the surgery and the time off that he had. I mean, he's hitting the ground perfectly. I mean, just absolutely cruising along there. He's a good-looking individual, and I think he's going to make amends for, as I said, what happened last year. Brian Coroner so good with sprinters, and speed can be fairly dominant down the hill as well, despite what some people think.
Who are those some people, Simon?
This guy right here.
Oh, wow.
No,
They're ganging up on Tom.
I'm getting thrown under the bus.
Sure. Look at his record. He's pretty much gone gate to wire, and he's 3 wins down the hill. Speed's pretty good down the hill, Tom.
Colleen Hartford aboard California Flag for that work back on October 25th. 5 furlongs, 102. And that concludes our calendar for this Friday. But the calendar on Saturday will read the Juvenile Turf, the TVG Dirt Mile, and the Filly and Mare Sprint. When we return on this edition of the Works Breeders' Cup 2009, you may hear that buzz in the air. It's the information that maybe people aren't writing about, and only you'll find right here. It's the Backstretch Buzz with our crew. The preparations continue here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. You need to prepare as well. If you're not a TVG account holder, you got to become one today. Go to tvg.com or pick up the phone, call 1-888-PLAY-TVG. You must be 21 years or older and reside in a state where wagering services are available, like the great state of California, where we will have 2 days of championship racing. And the sun has set, but when we come back tomorrow about this time, here are the works that you will see. Zenyatta, now alphabetically she should be last, but she's #1 in our focus. And don't forget, that work will be live from Hollywood Park. Simon Bray will be there on hand.
Yeah, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Pacific time. I'll be live on site. That work will be coming in the 8 o'clock hour. Then we'll look at Cowboy Cow. I'd love to see that work, and I tell you why. If you go back and look at his last race in the Oak Tree Mile, he was bearing out the whole way around the racetrack. We need to take a look at him first thing tomorrow morning and see how he's going to work.
We're on site here, just off the winner's circle at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. Christina Olivares in the TVG studios in Los Angeles.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I wanted to revisit the topic, obviously, of Zenyatta working Saturday morning at Hollywood Park. As you all mentioned, Simon Bray will be there live to cover it. And as we were gathering our news this morning, we wanted to talk to John in advance of that work just to see what his expectations were for the Saturday morning drill.
Well, it's going to be the same thing as like Life is Sweet today. I just want a maintenance work. She had a real good work last week when she worked with her 2 barn mates. So now we're looking for something around 113, just a nice, easy maintenance type drill.
So a nice, easy drill for Saturday morning, and I think the fact that they worked her in company with 2 or 3 other horses last week, that's a pretty good indicator that they've been training her very seriously, and I think that's why we saw John Sheriffs mention that he is definitely leaning towards running her in the Classic. Todd?
And I assume, Simon, you're going to have a microphone right there throughout the entire morning with John Sheriff?
John loves that.
Yeah.
I thought about having a wireless mic on him.
Okay. All right. These guys are very comfortable around the backstretch. You'll see that tomorrow with Simon in the Zenyatta work. But it is from the backstretch that you guys get a lot of things that maybe people will be writing about in the next couple of days. What's the backstretch buzz from you, Tom Amos?
Well, the Backstretch Buzz for me involves Beautician. Beautician, Kenny McPeak's horse that's going to run the Juvenile Fillies and was one of the favorites in the Alcibiades. Had a very difficult trip, arguably was the best horse that day, didn't win, ran 5th after getting blocked in the stretch. She's going to be reunited with her original rider that broke her maiden, Robbie Alvarado. Robbie Alvarado will be riding her in the Juvenile race here, and Robbie was unable to ride her after that race because of his commitment to Hot Dixie Chick. Obviously, Hot Dixie Chick not coming for this race, so those two will be paired up again with a clean trip. She should be a factor.
Simon?
This is for Bray. Garrett Gomez will be riding Pure Clan in the Filly and Mare Turf. Why is that key information? Well, Julian Leperoux had been aboard Pure Clan Rainbow View and Forever Together in their last starts, and Gomez had been aboard Visit off a good second-place finish in the yellow ribbon. So as the picture starts to become a little clearer, Leparoux will retain the mount on last year's Filly and Mare Turf winner, Forever Together. Gomez takes off a Visit and goes to Pure Clan.
I see somebody has Ron Anderson's number. Well done, Simon Bray. What about you, Frank? What's the buzz?
Well, Radiohead, who runs in the Juvenile, not Juvenile Turf, when he was purchased by IEAH Stables, he was purchased with the intention of going into Juvenile Turf. After all, why not? All 6 of his lifetime starts are on the grass. But after talking to Brian Meehan, they are going into Juvenile because Brian Meehan is convinced that Radiohead is better on the main track and he is in top form. This is a horse who was 3rd against Olders in the Nunthorpe, and his sire Johannesburg was one of the most popular winners ever of the Juvenile. So Brian Meehan very bullish about his chances.
That is your Backstretch Buzz for this first edition of the Breeders' Cup Works 2009. We'll have more as the days progress. Looking back at this day, maybe races we didn't get to. Other divisions that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I think the Juvenile Fillies is an interesting one because, you know, it's a deep, lightly raced group here, and I think anything could happen. So let's take a look at some of the contenders in there.
And one of them, and the pre-entries, is Connie and Michael, who was one of the worst-kept secrets of the Keeneland meeting. 12-1 in the morning line, went off as a heavy favorite and won like it, and gives Ken McPeak 2 chances at this race.
It certainly does. Coming out of a 7-furlong race, going to 2 turns, though. Sometimes that angle isn't always that very effective. Horses like She Be Wild, though, have 2-turn experience. Comes in for Wayne Catalano. She clearly was the best in the state of Illinois and the Midwest and around Chicago earlier this springtime. Then she came to the Alcibiades, her first start around 2 turns, and she ran a respectable second.
She did run a respectable second, and you know, in that race she got beat by Negligee, who was really the easiest of winners that day, Simon. Sat behind, horses had to wait, and when she found a gap, she took off. So don't let that margin of victory fool you on Negligee. I think Negligee is a horse to be dealt with when it comes to the Breeders' Cup. But getting back to She Be Wild, the horse I'm talking about right now, Simon, you bring up a very good point. Had never been 2 turns until the Alcibiades. Oftentimes, if a horse can get that distance, but has never done it before, they'll improve in their second start back. When you watch She Be Wild right here, working for us at Keeneland, it looks like she's getting across the ground very well.
Yeah, she's moving extremely well. The track looks a little dry there. You can see some of the kickback from the horse. She's not a big individual. You don't know how much scope she's got going forward. So I think you kind of got to make hay while the sun shines and get the most out of a juvenile year here, and that's what Wayne Catalano is doing.
Our thanks to the Keeneland Television Department for helping us get this work of She Be Wild at Keeneland this morning. 5 furlongs, 1 minute and 1/5 breezing. That was the fastest of 17 at the distance. Julien Leparoux aboard. Bickerson's was out this morning here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. Joel Rosario aboard. They were going a half mile.
Yeah, this is a very aggressive filly in the morning. You can see they took it to the pole, the starting point of the work with the pony, and you can see why. Again, we go back to that neck strap. You see the riders got their hands in that neck strap. The horse is wearing a figure-8 noseband as well, Tom, and you can see she's probably a little flighty, a little height-headed, and you can understand why they don't work her in company.
You know, another thing that is a habit of Bickerson's, both in the afternoon, you see it here in the morning, is that she doesn't really keep a good course. When you watch her come out of the turn and turn to the stretch, you'll see the rider use that left rein and pull it outward away from his body to kind of get Bickerson's get back on track. And watch her when she finishes. You'll see the right rein dangle. You're looking at the left rein right now. You can see it's taut. That's how it should be on both sides of the wire. That won't be the case with Bickerson's. Watch that right rein dangling to the wire. You can see him pull that rein a little bit right there with his left hand, try to keep a straight course. And he's going to try to bring it back to the rail through here. To some extent, he's successful, but there goes that right rein dangling, Simon.
Yeah, you can see she's just kind of, you know, head is kind of going all over the place there. I mean, yeah, she's going to be part of the pace here. I just wonder how far she can carry that speed going a mile and a 16th. I mean, obviously she can do it in the morning here working solo, but she's a little erratic there through the stretch.
Bickerson's working a half mile in 47 seconds flat. Joel Rosario aboard, ranked 2nd out of 40 works at the distance this morning, Oak Tree at Santa Anita. While we're bringing you our highlights to the day, you won't miss any of the works at tvg.com. If you're an account holder, this is what you have access to. All these works you see on the screen. You'll have all the information you need to make money on 2 championship days of racing, Friday, November 6th, as well as Saturday, November 7th. For Frank Lyons, Christina Oliveras, Tom Amos, Simon Bray, I'm Todd Schrupp. Until next time, may all your workouts be bullets.